Good morning, brothers and sisters, and happy fourth Thursday of Easter. In our gospel today, Jesus says that no slave is above his master. And it's important that we remember he speaks these words at the Last Supper, and he speaks them specifically after having washed the feet of his apostles. This was a job that would have been only for slaves. And so here's the master taking on this job of very humble service for those he loves, his apostles. You can imagine it was shocking. If you want to see what it would have been like, just try next time at Thanksgiving or Christmas, taking out a bowl, taking out a towel, and starting to wash the feet of your family members. They'd probably be a little, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Well, Jesus, with this example, is showing us that we are called to serve generously, totally, and humbly. There's no job that's beneath us. There's nothing we can't do because it's too low or too humble. No. We're called to serve in imitation of Jesus, the Master. And we are not above him. So we're called to imitate him. Years ago I was working in sort of an office building. And as I would walk to work, in one of the hallways, there was this man who would do this job. And he was just dusting the corners. And just the time coincided. Every day as I'd walk to work, he would be in this portion of the hallway, just very humbly, dusting. And I remember after some days, I realized that this man had a learning disability. And so, my heart just sort of poured out for him. And eventually I said, I should say hi to him. I should just thank him for this job that he's doing, And I remember one day I decided to stop and I introduced myself. And I just basically said, hey, thank you for the job you do. And I'll never forget his response. He just looked up at me and he said, I really try to do a good job. I really try to do a good job. That's all he said. And, clearly, like I said, he had this mental disability. And it was just so humbling to see this man not complaining about this very simple job he had to do, not embarrassed about this very simple job he had to do, but with a real spirit of service, trying to do the best job he could at this very humble job. What an example for us to follow, and I think it's a beautiful imitation of the example of Jesus. And so, brothers and sisters, let's go to Mary today and ask her to help us. She's the humble servant of the Lord. Let's ask her to pray for us that we can be very humble in imitation of her, and most especially of her Son, Jesus.